Greetings, we are the Arcturians with a message for you today. 26,000 years ago, you were basically where you are today, but you didn't have the added boost of the closing of other galactic cycles, which is occurring within your now. 26,000 years ago, you were too young, and you could not find the harmony that was necessary for you to blend all of the lessons that you had learned through your myriad incarnations, so that you could remember your multidimensional self and return home to your fifth-dimensional light body and beyond. Yes, the world was left evolved then, but one must bend low in order to jump high. Therefore, just as you, humanity, have often had to go into dark, fearful places before you could jump high into states of unconditional love, it is the same for your beloved planet Gaia. In other words, Gaia had to fall into great depths of darkness, from which she and you are now beginning to have the maturity and the tenacity to focus your consciousness on the extremely disciplined manner that is necessary to assist a planet to ascend. Gaia herself was too young 26,000 years ago, and did not want to release her form into the One, as her inhabitants were enjoying the game of physicality. However, after the long, dark night, which is now coming to its conclusion, you are learning to replace that fear and hard work with joy and love. The game of being a human has not been very enjoyable for millennia, and the last millennium has been exceptionally difficult for your pure, pristine spirits. You can now release the game and return to the self with whom you have shared your essence within your clay form. This process of return has begun, and at long last, you are beginning your journey home. However, as you go home, you are taking home with you. You are not leaving your physical world. Instead, you are transmuting your physical world back into its higher and original frequencies of expressions. In other words, you started life on Earth at a fifth-dimensional frequency, which gradually lowered into the upper fourth-dimensional frequency. Your reality resonated to that frequency for millions of years. Many civilizations were made, and many civilizations came to their conclusion. Many galactics, such as the Arcturians, the Palladians, the Syrians, joined in with the joy of creating a beautiful young society. However, the Anunnaki and the Draconians also joined in, which brought in that polarity of power within of the first societies and power over of the later societies. As polarity began to take place on Gaia's planet, the inhabitants made the same mistakes that humanity has made within your now. But the galactics eventually grew up enough to ascend and to move off of Mother Earth. They have become adults. As has happened again and again, civilizations took from Mother Earth, and then they left her to restore herself by herself. Gaia has become a great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. As those who have worn their physical body for many decades know, it is more difficult for a grandparent to rejuvenate and restore themselves than it is for a young person. Well, Gaia is a person too. She has a different body than humanity does, but she's still a sentient being who has evolved far, far beyond many of her children who took a body on her form. Now her third-dimensional body has become too limiting to her, just as your clay vessels have become too limiting to many of you. Just as you want to be free of the dark polarity, which pulls you off of your center, Gaia is also tired of being a third-dimensional planet in which there is a constant state of war, darkness, and damage to her very body. Gaia is ready now to transmute herself back into her expanded version as being a star. However, she does not want to abandon her children. She knows that all of her plants and animals are ready to transmute back into their original fifth-dimensional forms. However, many of her humans are still asleep. Some of them have become very attached to the darkness, and Gaia is concerned that they will not be able to transmute within their present incarnation. However, being a loving mother, Gaia doesn't want to give up on many of her children. Therefore, she has called every civilization who has ever lived and evolved on her body to come home to her, to help her children who are having a difficult time releasing the polarity of darkness and allowing themselves to live within the light. The main limitation that these children have is that they are still addicted to those third-dimensional polarities. They want to experience the highs that make them feel good, which results in a cycle down into the lows of fear, depression, and domination, which makes them feel bad. However, in order to face themselves and their addiction, these ones must be able to continue on the roller coaster of high cycling down into low and low seeking the high. Then, once the lows have been experienced, healed, and released, the need to go high is replaced with the need for peace and calm. Once that need for peace and calm settles in, there is no longer a seeking for the highs, and therefore there is no longer a dip into the lows. Gradually, the roller coaster grinds into an easy slope in which Gaia's inhabitants can relax enough to find their core, their center, the place in between the ups and downs. Within that center, Gaia's humanity can feel safe enough to begin their process of transmutation. Gaia has been releasing her third-dimensional physical matrix and shifting into her fifth-dimensional crystalline matrix, which is the basis of New Earth. New Earth is her fifth-dimensional expression of self. Humanity also has a fifth-dimensional expression of self. All of you who are ready to return to your higher frequencies of expression, which will be found within the core of your peace and calm. As you expand your consciousness as well as your perceptions into the frequency of the fifth dimension, you will begin to find these higher versions of yourself, often known as your higher self. They are higher only within the frequency that they are maintaining, so that they can continue to send you love and support. You, meaning those who are still holding a third-dimensional vessel. Now, some are holding their third-dimensional vessel because they are afraid to shift. They are afraid to change. But more and more each day are maintaining their third-dimensional vessel so that they can synchronize their flash into light body with Gaia's flash into light body. They have remembered and they are living the fact that they are all components of planet Earth. The earth, air, fire, and water that has created their earth vessel is exactly the same as the earth, air, fire, and water that has created Gaia's planetary vessel. Together, as person and planet become one, the planets can more easily assist her humans to shift into their fifth-dimensional states of consciousness. Furthermore, when the humans expand their consciousness into the realization that they are members of planet Earth, when they expand their consciousness into the fifth dimension and beyond, they begin to release the illusion of time that has created the separation, and the separation is released that has created the polarities. With the fifth dimensional consciousness, the humans are beginning to perceive that which is in between the good and the bad. They are beginning to realize that illusion hides in between the good and the bad. Once they learn to live within that in-between, once they release the judgments of good and bad, the separations of good and bad, the polarity of good and bad, and remember that they are members of Gaia. They came to Gaia to assist the planet. That remembrance is vital for their shift into their fifth-dimensional consciousness. Once the shift occurs into the fifth-dimensional states of consciousness, humanity realizes more and more that they are the planet and the planet is them. Together, people and planet, working as one being, will assist Gaia and all of her inhabitants to return back to the fifth-dimensional resonance. Now, this fifth-dimensional resonance is very important because the fifth dimension is an open portal to all of the frequencies of personal and planetary multidimensional self. So, beloved humans who have taken a form within this now, we thank you for your great contributions, and we remind you that each and every one of you is very important. Whatever you do to heal and to love your planet and all the beings who reside on your planet, because of the law of cause and effect, it will come back to you as well. But remember, if you do it with the intention to have it come back, that is a selfish intention. Hence, the power is greatly diminished. Instead, we recommend, dear Ascending Ones, that you give away within your multidimensional thinking and your unconditional love. You give away because you can. Blessings.